or Diaz or any of the big guys. When you get to that big fight, you got to win. Look at Matt Serra. Matt Serra was on the comeback season of The Ultimate Fighter. Which, again, I love when people fucking, this is a fucking joke. These guys are going to come off the comeback and fight fucking George St. Pierre, and he knocks George St. Pierre out in the first round. Matt, how much did your life change after that fight?
Dude, look, I'm hanging out with Jim Norton right now.
Exactly. It went right down the toilet. It went right.
What the fuck? This is what happened to me? No. Listen, I'm still riding that wave, brother. I'm still...
Hey, the Dos Anjos fight, when he dropped out, and McGregor, before he took Diaz, I know the fight was offered, I guess, to Aldo, and he said no. And obviously, he wasn't trained. Do you think he made a mistake when he said no? Like, hey, man, sometimes you just got to take it when you can take it.
Listen, I can't say whether guys make mistakes or not, but I will tell you this. When an opportunity comes, you must take it. Imagine if Michael Bisping said, dude, I don't have enough time to get ready for Rockhold. I don't have enough time. You know what Bisping said? Bisping said it was the best camp he ever had. He said, when I do a full camp, I'm exhausted, I'm busted up, and I feel like I left most of my shit in the camp. And this time he said, I never felt better. I felt good. I felt confident going into that fight. And when an opportunity comes, you must jump on it because you don't know when it's going to come again. If you look at the fucking killers now that are 185 pounds, Bisping might not have ever gotten the opportunity to get a title fight.
True.
And he fucking took it and he won. Take the opportunity when it's available.
Something to be said for playing with house money in a way. Like, I hate to use that douchey expression, but it's almost like nobody... It's like when Mendes took the fight against McGregor, and he wound up, I think, running out of gas a little bit in the second round. But it's like you lose nothing by taking the fight that you probably wouldn't have gotten to begin with.
Conor says no to nothing. Conor doesn't give a shit. I'm telling you, man, I'm the fucking guy that walks into your living room, and I'm the guy that calls you on the fucking phone and asks you for the biggest opportunities of your fucking life. And I've been doing it for 16 fucking years, and I know who says yes, I know who says no, and I know all the crazy shit that people say when I call them. And I will tell you this, people say I kiss his ass and I do all this other stuff. No, I fucking respect a guy that you walk in his living room when he's just waking up 11 days before a fight and has been training for a certain way for a certain opponent. This kid doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. I said, these are the three options. He goes, well, I'm going to train. Let me know which one takes it.
That's a great attitude to have.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've dealt with very few men and women.
Well, I'll tell you who's also like that, who's a bad motherfucker, is Nate Diaz. And I was with you. People are asking about that, if this is how the deal got done with the Stockton slap. I wasn't there. I was there with you because we were shooting our show.
Right.
Dana White looking for a fight. Plug. But, I was there. Wasn't there for the filming of that.
Matt wasn't there for that because he had to go freshen up.
That's my term for jerking off. But
Absolutely. All that free balling gets to you. Sure, I understand.
Go ahead. So how did that? So did that help the deal that he smacked you?
So what was happening is we were driving back to the. We had just went and met with the game. I don't want to ruin that next episode.
Yeah, we don't want to. Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, we just left and we were heading back to the arena. We were on Crenshaw, and there was a place called the Turf Hotel. It just came to me. I said, "Pull the truck over. I want Nate to slap me." And Nate looked at me like, "What the fuck?" You should have saw the look on his face when I said that. And then we pulled over and he started slapping away.
Yo, Dana, let me ask you something, buddy, because I was there live, as were you. The Bisping fight, when the other day when he fought Luke.
Yeah.
It's fucking exciting. First of all, it was amazing.
Incredible. Listen, when you talk about upsets in the UFC, you got to go Sarah GSP. What else was a huge upset? I mean, the biggest of all time. Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm, Weidman Silva. And then, Bisping, Rockhold has to be one of the biggest ever, if not the biggest ever. But Sarah coming off of The Ultimate Fighter and knocking George St. Pierre out, I still put that as probably number one. But Bisping is so close. Yeah. I mean, it's a neck and neck. He was a 10-1 underdog in that fight.
Not for nothing. I was there because I was cornering Ally Aquinta back when they fought. I don't know how long ago, but it was in Australia, and I was there for that fight. So if anybody's seen their first fight,
right,
then they know they're fighting again. It's almost really like it's like the way that first fight went. It was so one-sided for Luke that it's almost like Bisping, the way this came about, where he stepped in when my guy Chris got
11
hurt.
days notice.
And man, talk about an amazing little Cinderella
Think about
story.
this too. When I was watching that fight and I was flying home thinking about it, I was like, didn't Rockhold almost have this look on him like, oh my God, like he was annoyed that he had to be in there with Bisping, right? Like he was annoyed that he had to be there. And wow, man, it was, I was blown away.
It's funny with that because I was talking about that earlier. I was talking about that with Jimmy before. And it was like some guys, they come in and they're so, they're like, oh man, this guy looks so confident. And if he wins, you're like, oh man, look how at ease he was. And the guy could be doing the same thing, and then he loses. You're like, that guy he underestimated the guy.
You could tell he underestimated Bisping.
No, listen, one of the funniest, how about this? One of the funniest things, and I don't know if they showed it on air because I was there live, and it was, Luke gets in very nonchalant. His music's still going when he's in the cage, and he's like literally just dancing. And at one point, Bisping like points to him and he goes to the crowd like, "What the fuck? Like, what the fuck's this guy doing?" It was hysterical. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did.
Bisping's a riot, man. He really is. An enjoyable guy, man, in a sense that he's just himself,
And no doubt. And let me tell you what, Bisping's another one of those guys that I've called and doesn't turn down fights. Has been here for 10 years in the grind, has always kept himself, in the top 10 in the conversation with wins and losses. He is a very tough guy that you cannot underestimate. I think that a lot of people underestimate his wrestling abilities, and obviously one of the big things that's always said about Bisping is he doesn't have any punching power. Well, I guess you can throw that out the window now. People were looking at Anderson Silva going, wow, Anderson must really be shot now if Bisping's dropping him in a punch, and then he turns around and knocks out Luke Rockhold.
Beautiful left hook, man. Just beautiful. And Luke was extending a little. I mean, it's always easy to nitpick afterwards.
What's that mean, extending?
Well, he was looking and reaching out for that jab. That's when he was getting, I believe that's when he got caught, if I remember correctly. He reached in for that jab and he came underneath and boom with that left hook. And then he was wobbled and then he just jumped on him, man. He has a good killer instinct, Bisping. And
he told me, I talked to him after that fight, and he was like, we were working on that. We know that he drops his hands after he throws punches. And when I clipped him, I was like, holy shit, he went down, man. Jump on top of him right now. Bisping told me when he clipped him, he knew. And Matt, when you land that right punch on somebody, how it feels, that thing shoots through your whole body. You feel just like baseball players when they hit the baseball right, or golfers when they swing right, I guess. Apparently for golfers too, I've heard that.
Do you know what I have to do to get that feeling in my right arm?
I can take a guess at what they're going to say.
Dana, what started those guys at the end, too? They were arguing at the end and going at each other in the press conference. And what exactly was it that got them going?
They hate each other so bad, and when you have guys that really dislike each other, and I'm sure for Rockhold, as cocky as he was going to that fight, one of the things he said at the press conference, they're like, what's your this, that way? He says, I'm here to cash checks. That's what he said. And if that's really what you're here to do, and if that's really your mentality, I don't know. He regrets that whole thing. He wants that fight back so bad, and you can't take holding that belt for granted. Right. It's hard to get that belt. You had to go through Chris Weidman to get that belt, and a lot of other tough dudes to be there. Jacare, and the list goes on and on of guys, including Bisping, and the list goes on and on of guys you had to go through to get that belt. And you can ask any guy who holds that belt, it changes your life. Changes your life forever to hold that belt. And you have to have a much better attitude when you're the champion.
Now, there's been rumors, too. I want to ask you about a fighter, because obviously for years, people have been asking about Fedor Emelianenko. Will he fight? And I watched the Maldonado-Fedor fight. Interesting fight.
They were gonna let him die before they stopped that fight. You know that?
I can't believe they didn't stop that.
But a testament to how tough and durable and mentally strong Fedor is, man. He was out. He was out. Literally, when he got back up, when a guy is on crazy legs, the way that he was on crazy legs, and Maldonado wasn't like he was on crazy legs and was able to avoid punches after that. He continued to get hit with bombs by Maldonado, and he made it through it, man. But I'll tell you this, those refs were willing to let him die before they stopped that fight, number one. And number two, Fedor's got a chin, and he's a tough guy, man.